So do the prices for the instruments scale up?
The dichotomy of our
Well, yeah, dude. Why wouldn't they scale up?
I don't know.
If you were paying the same amount for one that's the size of an American Girl doll and one that, like, you know, Dave can use now, I would have a big problem with that. And the size that Dave can use now is a 3/4. So
better turn this camera around. This guy is gonna die.
Get back in your seat, Dave.
I always will say rent until you hit a full size that you will never have to purchase another instrument after that, because there's nothing larger than the full size violin. Unless, of course, there's some people that have nostalgic value and they want to see their kids grow up and keep everything that they've had over the years. I'm not one of those people, so therefore I don't keep anything of my own from when I was a child.
You sound so angry.
No, it's the truth, though. No,
but that's
the honest answer. That is the absolute honest answer that I've always given any parent when they ask, should I rent or should I buy? If you're comfortable with buying and you're okay basically not getting any of your money back out of it, unless you personally sell it to somebody else that you know, and you just want to keep it because it's part of your child's life, then I say purchase each of those instruments and keep them, because they have some sort of value. I don't think your kids are going to care as they grow up. Well, I mean, that's the truth. How many violins do you have?
I have all of mine.
Yeah, see, you have all of yours. I have none of mine. I really did not care.
I'm actually kind of glad my mom kept all mine.
Yeah, but your mom kept them.
Yeah, exactly. You really didn't keep them. I know where they're sitting. I know where they are.
Childhood violin, you're just like, oh my god, I love this one so much.
I just saw it yesterday. No, 2 days ago when I went to my mom's house. I was like, oh my god, it's so cute. Can't believe it was that small ones.
But then you moved past it.
Yeah, it's like you got past it instantly. It just becomes something else that you collect. So to put it bluntly, I will always say you purchase an instrument when you have reached the full-size instrument. You don't have to buy anything after that.
What are the different sizes of instruments?
So it can go like as small 1/32, which is literally the same size as an American Girl doll violin. And yes, it's playable. And it goes 1/32, 1/16,
1/8.
1/8. Can't do math, even though I'm Asian. 1/4, 1/2, 3/4, and
then
full.
the full size. So
Who's a 1/32 for?
that would probably
For a 2-year-old.
Yeah, 2-year-old.
I started when I was 2.5.
All right, Prodigy.
Oh no, the word. Oh
No,
God.
it's called OG Tiger Bone by Mahan.
Prodigy. Ugh. So the price of instruments. That's another good one, because it comes up a lot. Parents go on Amazon, they're like, oh, $50, let me buy this. And then they buy it, you see it, and you're like, oh my God, this thing is falling apart, and you haven't even touched it yet. So,
Think of your words.
I've got to think of my words very carefully on when it comes to
this
the value.
goes on camera.
I would always say...
I can't right now.
I was going to say 5,000 as a starting point, but that's not logical for most people. You should buy the
That your budget
best
will allow.
violin that your budget will allow, for sure. Don't cut any corners. It's always going to be a mistake, and you'll regret it, and then you end up wasting more money.
See, I have a
and
different
time.
philosophy, though. I do have a different philosophy, because the thing is, to ask a parent to shell out $5,000 for a full-size instrument, like, they better be pretty dedicated. They better be pretty committed.
Yeah.
And so what I tell my students is that when you get to the full size, right, because they have to lug it to orchestra, leave it in their lockers and all that, don't spend more than, like, I don't know, $500. And if if they take it a little bit more seriously, like, for example, if they join like a youth orchestra or stuff like that, okay, then you can spend maybe like $1,000, you know? And if they want to take it to the next level, yes, then maybe a 5,000. But then you're going into this area where you can go from 5,000 to, hundreds and hundreds of thousands.
And millions.
How much of a difference does it make, like the tiered instrument, like paying for $1,000 one versus a $5,000 one versus a $10,000 one?
Honestly, in my opinion, I liked an analogy that Dave used once. Surprise. But he's like saying it's like giving, like, let's just say they spend, I don't know, $100,000 on a violin. Let's say, they're in, Juilliard College or Manhattan School of Music. They buy a $100,000 violin, which is decently priced. It's not actually that expensive. It's okay. It's average.
That's really it's about $100,000 just to get into like the investments. The instrument's worth investing in.
What?
So that's like a decent violin, right? And and what did you say? Oh yeah, you were like, it's like giving somebody who doesn't know how to drive the keys to a Lamborghini. They can't appreciate it if they can't play. So my feeling is it's not the violin that makes the player, it's the player that makes the violin sound good.
How much time should kids spend practicing?
Oh God.
No, this is a very easy answer when it comes to practice. And I tell the kids the same thing because everybody is so consumed with how much time they practice. If you spend 30 minutes completely focused, right? Completely focused, that your phone is off, the computer is off, there's nothing around you that can create a distraction, that's better than wasting 2 hours of just nonsense.
Wait.
Even though I get to say I practiced for 2 hours, you really only practiced very small portion of that. That's not actual practice. Practice all comes from being completely focused.
Yeah, so it's always quality over quantity. So the way I always tell the students, it is more important and you will see more improvement if you dedicate in the beginning, okay, about 10 to 15 minutes, but you make sure it happens every single day. It's that consistency, music is weird. It's not like when you have a math test, right? You can totally slack off and then 24 hours before you can cram for it and still get an A. Like music does not work that way. Music is little bit by little bit because your muscles have to learn, you have to develop that muscle memory. So that consistency, that daily consistency is more important than you practicing 30 minutes and then you're like, oh crap, I have a lesson. Let's just jam it in and let's do an hour and a half. You're not going to see any improvement that way. And so I always tell beginners, always tell parents, start off with like 10, 15 minutes. You can't run a marathon if you haven't jogged for like 10 years. You got to slowly build it up. Then 2 weeks later, add another 5 minutes. 2 weeks later, add another 5 minutes. And you want to work up to an average student, 45 minutes to an hour every single day?
If they did that, they would see rapid improvement.
Huge improvement.
As
Absolutely.
opposed to 1 hour, take off the rest of the week. Do that 1 hour, take off the rest of the week. The time just doesn't add up and you see very, very little improvement, if any at all.
Yeah.
That's a big problem. Practice is a big problem, and I think a lot of teachers can sympathize with that.
Yeah.
That getting a student to practice is probably one of the most difficult things to do because it's not just the student.
It's discipline.
It takes discipline, and a lot of it stems from home.
Yeah.
As well.
All right. So how do you know when you've outgrown your instrument?
Basically, you stretch your left arm out, right? And as long as the scroll, as long as your wrist passes the scroll, it's time for a new instrument. Ta-da.
So
It's really
3
that
hours too
simple.
small for you?
Yeah,
Okay.
Was it?
that's it.
Why does that dictate that the instrument's not the right size? Like, what about that
Well-
measurement? There has to be a reason logistically speaking.
So that because you don't want the kids to be reaching, you want it to be like so.
Fairly comfortable.
Yeah.
Because you don't want too much of a bend in the arm.
But that
No,
raises...
you don't want the arm to be straight. You want the bend, but then you don't want it to be smushed either. Yeah. So it's like a lot of people ask, like, is it like age dependent? It's really not, because you could have a kid that's like this big, have really long arms,
really baiting me into just making a dude joke right now, and I'm really refraining from doing
What?
that.
I thought that was totally benign.
No. But you're talking about does age matter? I'm really ready to drop the. I'm ready to just drop the ball
Hell,
on him.
Bro!
That answer just went to hell and back.